What's up, idols? It's CC Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Are you a K-pop fan?
Yeah.
Is there something you want to say out loud so bad but you know people will cancel you, crucify you, or send you hate for having your opinion? Well, then we found our people in this video. I made a video like this like 4 or 5 years ago, right? And so much has happened in the world of K-pop since then that I feel like we gotta speak on it again. Maybe it's just me getting older, I don't know, but this is how I feel. A week shy of 32. That's right, I'm the same age as IU and Suga. Anyway, before we dive in, I just want to let you guys know I just uploaded a new story time on Patreon and it's wild. It's also very important because the next story time that you guys are going to see on YouTube, that is a bit of a prelude to it. So yeah, if you want to join my Patreon, there's a link in the description for you to check it out there. Right, into this video. So here are 10 unpopular K-pop opinions that I have. I'm gonna start off shooting fire. You know how these days you hear a lot of crap in the comments reviewing certain idols' performances and stuff like, oh, the mic is on. Oh, you can tell that mic's not on, they're lip syncing. I feel like this is deeply unpopular, but to me, I don't care if they're singing live when they're doing insanely intense choreography. If I'm gonna see a performance or a show, of course I'd want like that calmer segment where they're sat down and they can breathe healthily, show their vocal talent. But I don't expect them to be singing so intensely while dancing so fiercely, because that's not safe. That's not the healthiest thing to do to your body. You need to breathe. I don't want to see any more of these idols passing out on stage than we already do right now.
그때 딱 정국이 모습을 딱 봤는데 팍 이렇게 안길래 아우 씨, 큰일 났다 생각은 했었죠.
근데 제가 그렇게 쓰러질 줄 몰랐어요. 예, 저 처음 겪은 일이라 되게 당황스러웠는데
And let's be real, even if they do have great breath control and vocal stability, it never sounds as good live when they're singing and dancing as if it was pre-recorded. I think the first time this started to kind of get on my nerves, I remember last year lesserafim performed at Coachella, and I'm not gonna lie, they sounded not so great, and I like lesserafim. Ever since then, I feel like they've focused a lot of effort on being able to sing and dance very well together live. And nowadays you're like, oh, the mic is on, you can tell the mic's on. Like, we hear them singing and dancing and trying to breathe when they can while also doing insane choreography.
쉽지 않은 내가 쉽게 이해하는 내가 쉽게
I feel like the fact that they have debuted as idols, we shouldn't have to question if they can sing. We know how strict these K-pop regimens are. Like you can't be out there if you're not a singer. And of course we know some people sing better than others, but I don't feel the need to question their talent. Personally, I just don't think it's necessary to go to a concert or a show and see this insane choreography where there's like a millisecond to breathe and also expect them to be singing live doing that. I want to hear a good performance and see a good performance, and when they're singing and dancing together, it doesn't usually sound as good. That's just my opinion, and like I said, I'm starting off with fire on this because I know that is incredibly unpopular. So many people crucify idols and artists these days for lip syncing. If you're doing something physically strenuous, you have my full blessing to lip sync. But if you are just sat on stage or you're walking around stage and you still have to lip sync, unless you're like sick or something or your vocals are damaged, you should be singing live. That's how I differentiate the two. Number 9 on this list, Blackpink. Guys, people love to hate them, don't they? I was actually a fan of Blackpink literally since they debuted. There's not many groups that I was able to follow from debut. I think GOT7 is the only other one that I really liked from debut. When I heard Boombayah and Whistle, I love Blackpink. I love their like girl crush concept that they had, and Lisa was always my favorite. That being said, hearing their solo music and seeing them go their separate ways for the solo endeavors, which I'm also very relieved that they are gonna do like a reunion and a world tour later this year, Lisa's no longer my favorite. It deeply bothers me that people still call her a K-pop artist. She is Thai and all of her music is in English. Why is she still a K-pop artist? The reason this really got me upset was it the VMAs or the Billboard Awards last year? Rockstar, fire song, just came out, and it came out after the deadline for, I think it was the VMAs. There's like a K-pop category for the VMAs. And it came out after the deadline, but she still somehow was eligible and still somehow won in the K-pop category over actual K-pop artists like Jungkook and Stray Kids. She's Thai. All of her solo music has been in English, with the exception of Rockstar when she's like, Lisa, can you teach me Japanese? I say, hi. Okay, there's a little Japanese. Why is she still considered a K-pop artist? I don't get it. And was it the Oscars? She became the first K-pop artist to perform at the Oscars. How is it K-pop? Like, the song she did was in English and she is Thai. I don't know why that bothers me so much. I feel like it excludes actual Korean artists from these milestones and achievements, you know what I mean? And I feel like ever since they started to make their solo music and we get a bit of their identity through their own individual style, like Jisoo is still very much a K-pop artist. Rose kind of reminds me of like a Korean Australian Taylor Swift. A lot of her music, she has the acoustic guitar, she has like that heartbreak girl vibe. And I like it with her little curly cute, like I like Rose a lot. I didn't expect her music to be so fire and it's really good. Jennie, she became my favorite like overnight. As soon as I heard Zen is like my favorite song of the year. Definitely gonna be one of my most streamed songs of the year. Zen is competing with a lot of Kendrick Lamar in my algorithm, but hearing her solo music, I feel like Jennie has a lot more care and control and say in how her own sound is. She's very careful with her brand, the look she's going for, the vibe she's going for. Whereas I feel like Lisa is a great dancer. I feel like that is Lisa's strong point. I don't consider her much of a vocalist or a rapper. And I feel like in YG, and Blackpink, they promoted her more as a rapper. It's kind of like the Jackson Wang, the Mark Twain, and the Bam Bam effect, where when they're in the group, they're promoted as a rapper, but when they make their own solo music, they want to sing more. While I think it works for Jackson and Bam Bam and Mark, I don't really think it works for Lisa because so much of her music, I feel like there's 50 different songwriters throwing music her way and she records it all. The whole alter ego thing, it just seemed like a last-ditch cringy effort to try to make sense of all the different sounds coming from one girl, all the different vibes. Like, I never know what to expect from Lisa and I kind of don't like that. I feel like Rose, Jisoo, and Jennie have like a vibe, a look, a brand. Lisa is just kind of all over the place and I feel like she is racking up accolades and milestones that should be afforded to actual Korean artists. That's just my take. Number 8, now this isn't quite K-pop, but it's K-pop adjacent considering Top is in it. I was not in a hurry to watch season 2 of Squid Game. But after everybody was saying, yo, it's so good, you gotta check it out. Me and my boyfriend literally binged it in one night. And we're just sitting there like, bro, this is dumb. Like, this makes no sense. By the way, skip 8 if you haven't seen Squid Game season 2 because spoilers aplenty. First of all, the sympathy and the emotion I had in season 1 is out the window in season 2 because it's the fact that at the end of every game, you're allowed to vote to see if you want to still play these games to the death, and so many people still vote to stay in these games and risk dying for some money. My sympathy is gone because you have been given many opportunities to walk away from this death trap. So it's less emotional. In season 1, I cried many times. I found myself getting very emotional in season 1. Season 2, I found cringe and illogical. First of all, the main character, I can never remember his name, I am sorry. He won, he has all this money and everything, and he has this plan. Instead of going to see his daughter and try to rebuild his family, he can't even pick up the phone and speak to her. He picks up the phone and he's just like, I can't talk to her. It's the fact that you have all this money, and I get it. He said he doesn't want to spend it because it's like blood money and good people died for him to get that. So his plan is to sneak into the games and convince them to not play or teach them how to play better, all to get to the man, like the head man, the main, I forgot what he was called. But you had all this time, you have all these resources financially, and this is your best plan? Yeah. First of all, if you wanted to stop everybody from playing, you could have literally just paid them to stop playing. You have all this money you have not touched and don't want to touch. Why not use it to save the lives of all these people? Be like, you know what? I will pay you this amount to walk away from this game. I won last year. I have so much money. I don't want to spend it. Y'all have it. Make your lives better. This is your second chance. He could have did that. Instead, he's like, guys, let's show our humanity. We don't have to keep playing these games to the death. And then on top of that, you know, like I get it, he was teaching them how to play. As long as you don't move, you survive. But then at the end, to lead some men and a transgender character into a suicide mission to get to the head man at the top was the dumbest way to end a season ever. I was just like, this is making me mad. Like, this is so stupid. I found it more frustrating than like emotional or compelling. And on top of that, you weren't even the least bit suspicious of player 001. Nope. Considering last time he was playing all of y'all, he was like the guy running the whole thing. You didn't have the slightest doubt that, maybe this is the new guy. Like, he took to him, like, bro, that naivete. And listen, I love Hyun and I'm so glad he survived, even though we kind of all knew he was gonna survive. His whole boat side plot thing, I find so dumb. Like, they better be going somewhere with this. Plus, on top of that, the cast is full of absolute riffraff. I like Top. I think the whole weed thing was horribly overplayed. Again, I'm American, I don't smoke, but in America it's not a big deal. And it does frustrate me to no end how in South Korea, when you do drugs, you're harming yourself when you do drugs. Full stop. I think we could all agree with that. But you're punished more harshly for that than when you assault, abuse, violate someone else. That I will never understand that about South Korea. When I saw Kang Han-eul was being added to the cast, I was so excited because that has been my boy since I saw him being a goofball on Running Man back in like 2014. But yeah, in that cast you got people who confess to sleeping with a minor, people with assault charges, people with DUI charges, people with blackmailing and cheating on their wife. Like, it's a mess. The cast is a mess. Will I watch season 3 though? Probably, because I am desperate to see where this goes, and like, it better be going somewhere. Season 1 was great. Season 2, man, hopefully season 3 can bring it all home. Now, number 7. Again, not quite K-pop, but it is very much K-pop adjacent because it all falls under the same umbrella, right? So many people online blindly defending their oppas.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Traditionally on my channel, I've been talking about the likes of Seungri or Chris from EXO, or what's that guy from NCT? This guy from NCT. But these days, we've been talking a lot about Kim Soo-hyun. People don't seem to understand you can be beautiful and be a piece of shit. I know my man was innocent. I know my oppa was innocent. He wouldn't do such a thing. You don't know him. We don't know none of these people. We see them on one side of a screen. We do not know these people. We do not know these people. Like, there's the people who choose to completely deny, refuse to believe what they're seeing. That's one side of this horrible coin. On the other side, you have people who make excuses for these crimes. For example, with Kim Soo-hyun, we've been seeing people say, well, so what? She was a minor. She looked happy, didn't she? I find that incredibly horrifying and deeply disturbing. Or they don't feel sorry for Kim Se-don because they're like, well, she was lucky to date him. I would have loved the chance to date him. I aspire to y'all's levels of denial. Life must be really amazing when you can pretend facts aren't facts.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently. That's okay. Things are gonna be okay.
And like I said, I've said it in every Kim Soo-hyun video I've made so far. There is a lot that we do not know. All we can go by is the evidence we've seen so far. And the evidence we've seen so far is not looking good for your boy. When people who are friends of his or former friends cut ties, keep in mind, they know more than we know. Like, there have been people, oh, so-and-so unfollowed Kim Soo-hyun. So-and-so used to be close with Kim Soo-hyun, but now they don't talk anymore. That is all for a reason. And I get you want to distance yourself publicly, but also they know more than we know because they actually know the person. Anyway, it's just, K-pop is intense, man. Being a K-pop fan is not for the weak. Number 6. This is one I actually do think that most of you guys agree with. It's the really deeply delulu ones who see a problem with this. We've talked about this many times through various scandals on my channel. Idols should be allowed to date because they are normal people. They would probably be much happier and much less likely to commit suicide. And don't get me wrong, I too have delusions about my biases, my Yeonjun, my Bangchan, my RM, my Jungkook. I totally get it, but I'm also grounded in reality and I am very acquainted with grass and I touch it often. So if it ever were to come out publicly that these people are dating, I'm not gonna be mad or stop supporting them. Nothing has changed for me. The only thing that can make me not like these people is when they hurt someone else, when they commit some sort of crime, when they break the law. Even if they start making music I don't like, I don't suddenly start to hate them. I'm just less likely to listen to their music, which we're gonna get into that a little later in this list. Sure, it's fun to imagine a future with these people, but let's not expect that to actually happen, you know what I mean? In South Korea, especially when they are in the midst of a population crisis, wouldn't it make much more sense to promote dating publicly, starting families, being married like in a more public sense? Instead, we expect these idols to be single well into their 30s and 40s. Look at how many girls love Gongyu? Sorry. He is in his 40s, no public girlfriend or child to speak of. I get excited when I see people like Taeyang having a wife and kids. The industry itself needs to do more to promote this idea of these people being normal people, just like you and I, who want love and companionship. Instead, it's a part of the business model to promote this fantasy of being with these people. My ideal type is someone who loves me wholeheartedly. My ideal type is someone who supports me unconditionally. That's what they have to say instead of just coming out and saying, oh, I'm with somebody. Like, it must suck to have to keep your relationship so private and your personal life under wraps, because when it does get out, that person may be on the receiving end of a lot of unnecessary hate. We've seen it happen before. I don't know, I just feel like seeing idols with boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, and kids will go a long way to help promote family normalcy. Maybe help try to reverse the population crisis going on in Korea. And I do feel like Yoon, thank God he's gone, did a lot to increase the tension between men and women in South Korea. And that's why we do see this phenomenon where so many of them would rather just stay single. They can be single literally like in real life, right? But then they have their room full of posters, their phone full of videos and lives with their one-sided parasocial significant other who is a celebrity, who is Jungkook, who is IU, who is Karina of aespa. Everybody is single in real life, but they're like, no, but I love this person. They don't know it, but they love me too. Number 5. This one I know is gonna give me some side eyes, and I know a lot of people disagree with me on this. Personally, I have adored NewJeans since they debuted in 2022. I fully believe them. I fully believe that they were neglected by Bang Shi-hyuk, and I do believe they were supposed to debut before lesserafim. I feel like Bang saw NewJeans' unexpected rise to sudden stardom, the fact that they had such a small budget to train and promote them, the fact that they had such a specific style and look, and the fact that in 2023, NewJeans was the most profitable girl group in Hybe. There was only like 2 groups in Hybe that was really making them money after BTS had to take their hiatus for solo activities and military, and that was 17 and NewJeans. I feel like Bang saw this and was like, I need to do this myself, I need to have my own, and I think that's how iLit was born. I mean, usually idol groups don't see that sort of turnaround time. They debuted in summer of 2022, and by 2023, they were the most profitable girl group under the umbrella of Hybe. So I do think like when an idol can get themselves out of that debt so quickly and start making their own money as well as money for the company, because money for the company comes quick, right? But you gotta work yourself out of debt before you are yourself profitable, and that's this K-pop curse we see a lot of people go through, where they promote actively for 5 years and they still haven't seen a dime. NewJeans beat the odds and they were making a lot of money, breaking a lot of records, doing numbers. And I do think Adore CEO was a bit weird, but I also feel like it is so easy and almost like a reflex for people to vilify women. Personally, I think there is a reason that people like Jungkook, for example, supports NewJeans so much. He's done his little Easter eggs and cryptic posts showing support and solidarity with them.
On September 14th, Jungkook posted a photo of Bam on his pet dog's Instagram account. What gained everyone's attention was the caption, which supposedly showed support for the NewJeans members. K-pop fans believe the 5 hearts used in the caption stand for NewJeans, as the colors of the hearts match the colors and order of NewJeans members. This did not go down well with some armies. Some armies have sided with Hybe during this Min-hee-jin and Hybe feud and in the process have written malicious comments toward NewJeans ever since. This is just one of many comments speaking negatively about NewJeans. Right now they are accusing NewJeans of hacking his pet's account and turning on Jungkook for supporting NewJeans. Just yesterday armies were tweeting "Protect Yourself Jin" and painting NewJeans as mean girls after it was revealed Jin and Hanni will be departing together. This is how toxic it has become. Hybe initially responded to Jungkook's post saying we're currently confirming the artist's real intentions. However, Bigot Music has released a brief statement confirming Jungkook's stance, saying we have confirmed that this was posted with the belief that under no circumstances should young artists be dragged into disputes or used as shield. Jungkook wrote the caption, "Jungkook cares about other artists' freedom. Artists are not guilty."
And keep in mind, the members of NewJeans are still so young. They are babies. I just feel like there's a reason Bang has always had a weird or non-existent relationship with women artists at his company. Whether it was neglect or outright refusal to even train women and girls, but NewJeans was about to be the first scandal-free group under his company. Like, we know about the member from Glam, which again, I hate that that one girl ruined it for all women for like 5 or 6 years. It is widely known and accepted that Fromis9 and G-Friend were widely neglected once acquired under the Hybe umbrella. LeSserafim, immediately upon debut, had to kick out a member because of bullying accusations, and then NewJeans was perfect. But now you have this Islet versus NewJeans copycat scandal, neglect, trial, and all this court shit going on right now. He treats boys and girls differently. Changed my mind. NewJeans was just here in Hong Kong, and they released a song called Pit Stop, which I thought sounded fire, but it did sound like the Super Shy beat, but that's also like a very known, I think it's like a UK sort of like the Powerpuff Girls intro, which is also part of their brand. But the fact that they announced an indefinite hiatus following, oh, you can't rebrand yourself as NJZ, that's illegal.
As big as the decisions we've made in the past year have been, all been decided through a very, very large amount of discussion between us. I'll be completely honest, we're not that comfortable about constantly bringing up this situation because we know that it involves another team and we don't want anything, we don't want to affect that team in any way. You know, there's no need for that. There really is no need for that. But if you don't express how you're feeling and what you're thinking, people don't know. And people would have just believed what was going on in the media.
저희가 목소리를 내야 되는 순간마다 많은 곳에서 저희의 이야기를 다루게 되잖아요. 약간 당연히 무섭기도 했고 앞으로의 제 인생에 있어도 되게 고민이 많이 되는 일인데
어떤 사람들은 저희가 되게 뭐 유명하고 뭔가 뭐든지 하고 싶은 대로 다 할 수 있고 말하고 싶은 거 다 할 수 있는 그런 위치라고 그렇게 생각하고 계신 분들 충분히 있을 거라고 생각을 해요. 저희가 되게 참다가 이제 겨우 저희가 겪은 부조리함에 대해서 목소리를 냈는데 지금 솔직히 사회적으로 봤을 때 상황이 저희한테 유리하게 흘러가고 있진 않잖아요. 근데 그 상황 자체가 저는 그 사실을 말해준다고 생각하거든요. 저희는 엄청나게 용기를 내서 말을 한 거거든요.
They still have 5 years on their contract. I don't think we're really going to see much from them. And that makes me really sad because I really like NewJeans. NewJeans and Jennie are probably going to be my most streamed artists this year. We'll see when the Spotify Wrap comes out.
I guess we just really wanted to be able to work and to be able to do the work that we love without these misleading and false lies getting in the way.
Now this is the one on this list that I think is gonna get me the most roasted for. I can't believe I'm about to say this with my whole chest. I haven't enjoyed any of the new music from BTS since about 2020.
You can pack your things and leave. There's the door. There's the door, bitch!
Early 2020. I think Black Swan was the last song they released as a group where I was like, this is fire, this is a banger. I kinda like the run, bulletproof, run, yeah, you got it, run. Hear me out though, here's my thing. I first started listening to them and standing them in 2016. Back then, they were still very much a hip-hop and R&B group, and they had the occasional pop hit, but I feel like ever since the success of Dynamite in 2020 that they've become a lot more pop focused, and I feel like a lot of it is like radio play, very English, very much catered to the Western market, and I feel like they're losing the K in the K-pop. I feel like a lot of artists are changing their style to appeal to a Western, more global market. Last year alone, how many of them did we see twerking and shit? Like, this is weird. Like, don't get me wrong, I was excited to hear a lot of like the BTS solo music, and again, I just, God, like, I'm gonna get roasted for saying this. Like, Namjoon has been my favorite since 2016. Since I first saw him, I was like, that one. I think Save Me was the first video I ever saw from them, the first song I ever heard from them. And he comes out at the end. I was like, that one, he is my favorite. I'd say after hearing Golden, I think Jungkook is becoming my favorite. And I know this is like a really big double standard because I do feel like of all the solo music we've seen from each BTS member, Jungkook's is the most like Western and global. So yeah, I get it. It's a double standard and there's a gray area for me. Like, it's not black and white. His music is my favorite. Jimin's is my second favorite. Suga's probably my third favorite. I didn't really like any of RM's music. I didn't like any of J-Hope's music. I do like Mona Lisa. I didn't even really try to listen to Jin, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I like V's music like at all because he's a very old soul. Like, I feel like he has a very unique niche style and that's just not my vibe. It's done for a reason because strategically and financially, that's, you know, they are a business. South Korea is a dying population right now. There's a lot more money to be made outside of Korea than in Korea, especially because there's a lot of like Chinese Korean tension, especially with like K-pop and music and stuff. China used to be like K-pop's cash cow, push for K-pop into the Chinese music market and stuff. And I do feel like with it running out of its Eastern market, it has to run into the Western market, if that makes sense. Because Japan is also very much in a similar boat with an aging population. They are also in a birthing crisis. So yeah, I get it. It's a business. You want to keep making money, so you appeal to the West, but you're also losing the K in K-pop. That's it. That's my statement. For number 3, I also feel like K-pop is becoming too oversaturated. Constant concerts, constant comebacks, mini albums like 4 times a year, so much merch, photo cards. It's designed to turn your appreciation and devotion and admiration into a form to just siphon you of all your coins. We got new glow sticks. Buy 13 of these albums so you can get all their pictures. I feel like they just want to milk all these artists dry until their 7 years up.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Until they can move on to the next group. And I do feel like that is part of the reason so many of these idols and artists don't renew after 7 years, which is why when it comes to the likes of Tex, for example, I'm getting very nervous. I always get nervous in the 6th year. I'm just like, please let them renew. I was like this with Stray Kids last year. I hope they're happy under Big Hit and I hope that they want to renew, but we do see a lot of the times these artists say, you know, I'm going to start my own label, I'm going to manage myself, I'm going to bring in my own artists. They need to stop overworking these artists, making them perform constantly, releasing mini albums every other month, and let them have control over their own music and style. And on top of that, we have their group activities and group stuff to buy. Now we have individual solo stuff to buy and support as well.
I hate it here!
Being a K-pop fan is not for the weak. You know, I'm gonna put a little bonus here because I didn't list this out, but it just came to me. I am so sick of these little K-pop fan wars. I am being, like, how old? I can't even say how old you are because I do know a lot of K-pop fans be like 12. I like BTS. Oh yeah, well, I like 17 and they're better. Both can be true. You can like them both. I don't understand. Oh, I stan Blackpink. Oh, they're garbage. Actually, you need to get with aespa. Bro, why are you fighting these battles amongst each other when these idols are not fighting these same battles? Like, you're starting a war that no one is fighting. I cannot stand these little K-pop wars, these little fandom wars. And actually, it kind of does spill into the next thing I want to mention on this list. The toxicity of these people online should be studied and abolished. Like, like I said, Lisa used to be my favorite member. She's a phenomenal dancer. Do I think her music the best? No, but that does not justify people sending hate her way all the time. Or Jennie, oh, Jennie's so lazy. You don't know what she had to do earlier that day. You don't know if she's not feeling well. You don't know what these people are going through, right? So the fact that people are like, oh, looks like this person's gaining weight. Oh, this person's so lazy. Oh, this person needs to smile. Oh, this person, oh, look at that thigh. She's getting bigger. The judgment does not stop. Oh my God, they're such a bad dancer. Oh my God, they can't sing. You do it then. Go ahead, we'll all watch. And it be coming from the most anonymous people online too, who have a fucking cat or cactus as like their profile picture. I feel like the golden rule should always apply. If you don't have nothing nice to say, Shut the fuck up. That's not a quote, but you know the saying. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. For example, like there was definitely like this strong NewJeans versus aespa fan war thing going on. These days, everybody is on TikTok and YouTube shorts and IG reels doing their dance challenges, and they collab with other groups, and then you see aespa and NewJeans dancing together, seeming to get along just fine, not giving a fuck about this war y'all have going online. Like, does that not make y'all feel silly? Like, if they can get along, you should be able to get along too. Like, nothing is that serious in life. Anyway, piggybacking off of what I just said, because of all the toxic people out there online, all the judgmental critics, I don't think idols should be able to debut until they're at least an adult. K-netizens and trolls online are atrocious. Kids are way too young to be exposed to that type of criticism, judgment, and hate. It's too much for adults even. You think a kid can cope? And I'll take it a step further. I feel like you should not be allowed to be anonymous. You should be held accountable for everything you say and do online. And I think it should be considered identity theft when you pretend to be someone else. Is that extreme? Maybe, but it's just my opinion. Like NewJeans, I'll keep coming back to them because they are very young. The hate that they've been open to, and like last year with Supernatural and Bubblegum and How Sweet, people are like, oh, Honey looks like she gained weight. Or the people who are saying, oh, Hyun used to be much cuter. Bro, she's like 16. Chill the fuck out. That's what I'm saying. They were too young to be exposed to all this hate and criticism. And I feel like at the very least, if you're gonna debut into this harsh world, you should be at least an adult. Now, number 2 on this list, I think is something that we can all probably get behind. I don't think AI K-pop groups should be allowed. I think that is like the biggest cash grab if I ever saw one. You don't have to worry about overworking these AI models like you overwork humans in real life. You don't have to worry about paying anybody because they're computers. What the fuck is eternity? Maeve. Super kind. Nah, that's creepy. I will never listen to or support a virtual or AI K-pop artist or any artist. Like, that's lazy. I think Maeve was the first ever virtual or AI group I ever heard of. But now they're starting to pop up, and I don't like that they're popping off. I don't want them to be successful. No, like that's just wrong. Actually, you know what? I'll make that the bonus one, and I'll make this the number one. I was gonna do it the other way around. This was gonna be the bonus, that was gonna be number 1. I don't think K-pop should be considered K-pop unless the music is in Korean, it's based in Korea, the artists are Korean. Now, don't get me wrong, there are exceptions. Personally, I think a group like Black Swan is an exception to that rule, because once upon a time, they did have Korean members in their group. Now they're all foreigners, none of them are Korean, but all of the music is in Korean. They are based in Korea, and they work with Korean producers, writers, managers, all of that. And I'm not talking about Cat's Eye. I love Cat's Eye, by the way, but I don't think they were ever promoted as a K-pop group. I'm pretty sure they've always been promoted as like an international girl group, and I'm pretty sure they're based in LA. Like, yeah, part of them is the Hybe Korean umbrella, but they're also partnered with like a Western label as well. I'm sorry, but if a group is made of mostly non-Koreans, non-Korean speakers with no basis in Korea, then it's just foreigners cosplaying as a K-pop group. Have you ever heard of this group called Kachi? They branded themselves as UK's first ever K-pop group. Or even Ali London, who likes to brand himself as a K-pop star. Or like to. I don't know what he's up to these days. I think he moved on to being more of a fart. Yeah, he moved on to being a fart. I think he moved on to being a far-right personality. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand the appeal and the interest of foreigners being like, oh my god, I love K-pop so much, I want to be a K-pop star or a K-pop idol. I feel like that can only get you but so far. Maybe the market for a foreign K-pop group just isn't really there. I think there's a lot of people who like K-pop enough that they want to make it themselves, but I do feel like the numbers have shown that financial incentive isn't really there. There isn't this demand to make foreign K-pop artists. When I say foreign, I don't mean like Vietnamese, Japanese, Chinese, Thai, because we've already seen them intermingle with Korean K-pop groups for years. I'm talking about people who have origins that originate outside of Southeast and East Asia. I feel like most K-pop fans want to hear K-pop from Korean people. It's fun to learn music in Korean so you can sing along, and it's fun to have the idea and the fantasy of moving to South Korea and becoming a K-pop idol trainee. But I feel like you can't really call yourself a K-pop artist if you're not Korean, if you don't speak Korean, if you're not based in Korea. Again, this is just my take. These are very unpopular opinions, but this is just my opinion. That being said, I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments below. If there's anything you agree with me, I'm sure there's plenty you disagree with me on. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong!